What's going on, everyone? This is the Warehouse Series. I welcome you to the channel. If you're new, I am going to be putting this in this playlist right here. This is before your first day. Anything that is referring to a new selector, I like to stick in this playlist right here. So if you are new and you did not even start yet, please watch this playlist right here and watch all my videos, really, to give you a really good idea of what's going to be going on in the warehouse. So as a trainer in my building, for the times that I have trained, I'm going over my 10 things that I noticed that the trainees do all the time. So I think it's, a good video, good topic to put out to let you know what to look for whenever you start at your job. So let's go over number one. Number one is a low corner. I preach all the time whenever I'm on this channel and whenever I'm training in person that you need a high corner and you need a low inside. That way, if you put a case on top, you're leaning inwards. You're not leaning out. With a low corner and a high inside and you put a case on, your corner is going to be leaning and you're going to drop your product. As you can see right here, we're actually missing a whole corner, but I was trying to find a picture that I could show you, but this is a low corner. We want to build from our corners in. So even if we were to take a couple of these brown boxes off and a couple berries, we want to make sure that we have a corner that's going to be either level or higher than the inside. So actually a couple of those brown boxes probably could have fit on the corner here to give us a little bit better of a corner back here. But low corner is a very bad thing, and I tell people and then I leave and I come back and they got their low corner again. Always focus on having a high corner, low inside. Second thing is the perimeter of the pallet. Probably one of the most mistakes I've ever seen is not stacking to the pallet. We either stack over the end of the pallet or we stack not to the end of the pallet. So we either got a narrow pallet or a wide pallet. And I tell you all the time, imaginary line straight up the board. Right here, we got a charcoal that is for some reason all the way in. We're not stacking to the perimeter of the pallet. The rest of the pallet actually doesn't look bad. So I don't know why we tug this, charcoal in like this. And in this picture right here, we got all kinds of things going wrong here. We got a bucket hanging over the side. All right. Here's the end of the pallet. The bucket's over here. We need it at the end of the pallet. We got two cat litters in the back where my arrows are pointing to back there, hanging over the back of the pallet. We got this blue arrow up here showing you steps coming up. We just missed our whole corner. We got to have that imaginary line going up, and we got to have all that product hitting that imaginary line. When we're not stacking to the perimeter of the pallet, this is what our pallets are going to look like. You're reducing cube. You're losing cube. A cube is at our place, 64 cube is the full pallet. So if you start selecting like this, the computer, when it figures out the cube, is the size of the pallet straight up. And if you start condensing that, then you're losing cube and you're going to have a tall pallet. If you get too wide, you're going to have a pallet that's probably going to fall over or not fit in the truck. So please stack to the perimeter of the pallet. That is number two, and is something that I think a lot of trainees get wrong. All right, number three, and I see this a lot, squeezing cases in places they don't fit at all cost. We got a gap in the middle of the pallet and we're going to shove a case in there. We're not going to move on to the next layer until we get every gap filled. It doesn't matter if cases are upright, crooked, sideways. It doesn't matter. We need to stop doing this. And this is a perfect example right here. I got my two yellow arrows pointing to two cases that this person shoved in these gaps that didn't fit, and they pushed their contents out on both sides, and they figure, what the heck, I'm just going to wrap this and they will keep everything together. This pallet probably got destroyed going on the pallet. So guys, if you have a gap this big and I have a case this big, it's not going to fit. If it doesn't fit, just put it somewhere else. I guarantee 90% of the time, you're always going to find a case that is going to fit in that gap. I build around my gaps. I take mental notes of my gaps. And then whenever I find a case that I think is going to fit there, that's when I take the opportunity to put it there. I am not forcing cases and gaps, so please stop doing that. I see it with every single trainee I have. Cases upright, sticking up. We don't have to fill in every single gap, guys. All right, number four is putting big cases in the middle. If you follow my channel, you know I can't stand this. This is an example of putting big cases in the middle. We want our cases pointing towards the inside. we have a really bad habit of doing all these pictures that I'm showing you right now. We have a really bad habit of putting cases going the length of the pallet. We want them going towards the middle of the pallet, the strong point of the pallet. We do not want big cases here. When we force big cases in this section of the pallet, we are giving ourselves a small corner. We want a large, strong corner with a small inside. We don't want a strong inside with a small corner. Our corners are everything when we were building a pallet. So think strong corners, big, flat, heavy boxes on the corners facing inwards when possible, and not putting big cases like this in this part of the pallet. Like I said, if you follow this channel, you know this is a huge pet peeve of mine, and I have yet to see a good pallet come out of this. So please stop building like this. But I do see it with new trainees. We need to stop. All right, number 5 is cases on their sides. Please talk to your trainer when you get to the workplace and you start training. There is a certain time to put cases on their sides, and there is a time that you don't want to put cases on their sides. You know, I think people are just getting way too carried away with putting cases on their sides. I've seen like almost entire orders with like probably 50% of the cases on their sides. Cases are meant to be upright. All right, there are certain times that you can put cases on their sides. Just please talk to your trainer about that because they actually make bad pallets when you put a ton of cases on their sides. All right, number 6 is walking around your pallet. So if I'm selecting on this side of the owl, I want to try to put it on this side of my pallet. I see too many times we grab a case here and we walk all the way around. Okay, so we want to focus on building on the same side that of the owl we're on. So if I select the case here, I want to put it on this side of the pallet. Now, if I have a gap over here and I've been waiting for this case to fill in that gap and it's on this side, I will walk around to fill in that gap. But for the most part, you want to try to stack on the same side. It's just going to save you a lot of time in the long run. All right, so that leads me on to my next one, and that is not leaving yourself enough room in between the jack and the rack. Because the first thing we say as trainers is you got to leave enough room for people to get by. I see way too many times that we're giving ourselves like this much room, and that's a lot of the reason why we're walking around our pallet is because we're not giving enough room between the jack and the rack. Give yourself at least 2 feet. So if I pick up a case here and my jack's behind me, I got enough room to select on that side of the pallet. So make sure you're focusing on keeping yourself about a 2-foot gap between the rack and your jack for safety reasons and for selecting reasons to save you time. So give yourself a 2-foot gap, and that should be plenty of room on the other side of the aisle for somebody to pass. All right, the next one I want to say is just being too fast. Getting that mindset that I got to go, go, go. You're thinking about the standard off of week 1, and you should not be. You should be focusing on building your pallet. So just be calm, slow down on your training weeks, and start learning to build a pallet. I promise you, like I say on this channel all the time, if you learn to build your pallets, you're going to get those times. I promise you, but because you will start selecting without thinking about it, and that is the whole mindset of selecting. You want to be able to select your pallets without thinking of it. And with that being said, going backwards too fast. I notice at our building, whenever we go to back in the wrap stations, we tend to go too fast, and then we panic, and then we jerk it the other way, and then our pallet falls over. So what it is when you're going backwards and you're not focusing on your handle because you're new on the jack, and you're leaning over this way and this way to see if you're lining up in the wrap station, you tend to hit the throttle full blast, and then you start going fast and you panic. So learn to ease your handle. Learn to that you could judge the speed of that handle by turning it softer. So that's another thing, is going backwards too fast. Those two's, going fast selecting and going backwards too fast whenever you're going into your pallets, backing on their pallets and going into the wrap station. All right, number 9 is walking with your opposite arm. I didn't think this was going to be a problem, but I have seen at least 4 trainees do this. When you're walking down the aisle and you're selecting next to your jack, you want to select. So if I'm walking on the left side of my jack, I want to have my arm extended and I want to walk like this selecting, because I want to keep that space between my arm and the jack so I don't run over my ankle. For some reason, I've been seeing people do this and they're walking like this. You don't want to do that because you're putting your feet closer to the jack and you're giving yourselves a heck of a lot more opportunity to run over your feet or your ankle, or roll an ankle, or hurt yourself. Always, if I'm on the left side of the jack, I got my right arm, I got my right arm using that. And if I'm over here, I'm using this arm. I am not crossing arms to walk my jack. So be careful when you're doing that and you're a new trainee. All right, and the last thing I want to talk about is just getting frustrated. I see way too many people get frustrated with the Vocalex system and that they're not learning to build the pallets correctly. It's week 1. I don't care what job you have. It is frustrating on the first week, right? So take a deep breath, relax, and realize that I got 8, 10, 12 weeks, however many weeks that you're building allot you. They are giving you that time because they know it's a frustrating job. Selecting cases is not easy. It's a physical, demanding job. It requires a lot of hours sometimes, depending on where you work. Just take a deep breath. Realize that you got more than 1 week. All right, it's not just you're with your trainer for a week. Hopefully, I know some people are saying that after week or after day 1, they're getting rid of their trainers. If you're watching this video and you're a warehouse manager and you're getting rid of your trainers after day 2, come on, you got to rethink what you're doing. Trainers should be with their trainees for at least a week. So give them that week and, take a deep breath and, ask for retraining if you need retraining. But realize that any job is frustrating, but especially when you're doing a labor job and especially if you've never been a laborer and now you're coming into a labor job, it can be frustrating. So just take a deep breath, ask questions, and that's why this channel is here. You can even come to me and ask me questions and I will try to help you, or even over in Discord, they will help you. So guys, that's it. Subscribe to the channel if you want to. Discord, that link is always in the description below. Come over there and that community will help you out as well. So I will see you guys next time. Have a great day.